Welcome back to another spill drop video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to build the most efficient and compact large furnace base in Rust. If you want to see how this comes together, stay tuned and I will show you how to build this out. Let's go ahead and jump straight into the tour. Right away inside, you see we've got a couple of sleeping bags down here for some quick respawn at the front of the base. Got some options for garage doors in these slots. You can place another door there if you want, but it seemed a little bit overkill for me. And we've got our tier 2 here, our engineering workbench, some small boxes down below, and a mini fridge here on this side. Before we move on into the core, we're going to jump up top here and take a look at some of the extra storage. Now this can be customized a little bit, and when I build this out, I'll probably mix it up a little bit more than what you see here. But as you can see, we've got a research bench, a repair bench, a bunch of small boxes down there. I'll show you a better way to place those when we actually build this out. But you can see large box, small box, all kinds of good stuff. Got some floating storage on these bamboo shelves over top. Also, a little bit of cheeky storage here over the core, which we'll get to in a minute. Now into the money area here, we've got our large furnace squeezed in here right next to our refinery, and a bunch of these regular little low-grade based furnaces around, and some boxes floating on these shelves as well. This gives you some charcoal production, some powerhouse smelting, and some refining as well, all in the same space. I've included the adapters on everything so you can see just how they would tie into one another in an industrial or automated system. Going counterclockwise from the front door, you can see we've got our Shopfront module here. Now up top, that'll take us to the TC, but down here we're going to start with the sort of automated factory we've got, which has our tier 2 and our 2 industrial auto crafters in place above 2 small boxes. These small boxes, if you place them right, will allow you to put adapters on either side. Kind of see there should be an adapter in there. It can be kind of tricky to get the adapter on this box here, so sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Really just depends on how far over you get this tier 2 to place. So I recommend getting it a little bit closer to the seam between these two foundations for the best results. And then through here, you can see we've got a vending machine and a barrel with a bunch of adapters on it. And if you toggle the hatch here, you can see there's another vending machine right behind that door. You can access that vending machine through the door here using the slot in the armored door. Also access this barrel, no problem at all. This ladder hatch creates an airlock here, which is nice. Popping up top here, we are in the TC area. So another little bit of storage up on top of the floor grates here. Some small boxes on these floating shelves, additional small boxes down here and a barrel. And then you'll notice we've got our tool cupboard tucked away behind this armored window and the embrasure there. The embrasure serves a double purpose. It helps act as additional protection for a raid, and it conceals a little bit of a secret in this design. So you'll notice if we fly right on in here, there is a hidden small box up on top of this tool cupboard. Now you can use that small box as overflow upkeep for the TC, or you can stash rockets or boom or something up there to keep it out of sight of raiders while they're picking through your base. Moving on counterclockwise, we're going to jump around the furnace in here to the bedroom modules. Got a bed, very cozy, bunch of storage on the walls and down here with these barrels. Another ladder hatch airlock preventing people from pushing through here. Open that on up, and we'll take this up to the next floor where you can see another bedroom, who could have guessed it, and a bunch of storage on that back wall and on this wall here, as well as some storage through the window up on top of that grate. Taking this ladder hatch all the way up to the roof here. It's a bit of a tight squeeze, so you kind of gotta crouch hop up to the top. And up here you can see that we've got a bunch of storage stashed up in the roof where no one would think to look for it. A bunch of barrels and small boxes to give you kind of the options that are available for this sort of layout. So I recommend experimenting with the space that you have and what kind of layouts you want to give you the most options for industrial adapters and automation or just general storage. Otherwise, not really too much use up here. It's basically just an attic, but you've got a lot of storage potential up. And last but not least, we're going to take a look at the remaining furnace modules we've got for this design. And in this electric furnace compartment, we have 16 electric furnaces in a 3-triangle space, which is pretty compact and efficient if you do ask me. Definitely tough to navigate though. Once you've got these upper furnaces placed, you're not getting any further back than this. So make sure you get all of your industrials and electricals set up for the lower level and these furnaces here on this side before you finish the top row. Moving on through here, we have some more low-grade based furnaces for charcoal production. There's also some more small boxes for storage up here. I recommend using these for wood or charcoal, just so that way you don't have to worry too much about where you're stashing all of your extra resources. And of course, some more barrels up here for storage above the large furnace. And now, while we're taking a look at these, let's go ahead and float on through so you can kind of see what we're working with here. This area is just a half-high segment of the base pancaked between 2 layers of these floor grills and floor frames. Now, this is because you can't place anything directly over these large furnaces except for floor frames and the floor grills. So I've gone ahead and just used those to shelter in this build and provide a little bit of raid defense from a top-down attack. And that is the full tour for the base. Just taking a look at what we've got here. This is an incredibly cheap build. Only 18 HQM required to upkeep it and 2,800 metal frags. You can see the resource cost up here. Definitely a cool design and one that I'm pretty proud of. So let's go ahead and build this out together. To start, you're going to want to get your foundations placed. You want these to be just as high up as you think you'll be able to jump, because you're going to need room over the top of the furnace for the floor frames that we were looking at earlier. So that should be a good height right there. Go ahead and get it boxed in just like so. Delete these foundations right there. Now you're going to want to go ahead and get your large furnace placed. Go ahead and squeeze it into one of these corners. It's pretty good. Then you're going to want to get your refinery placed as well. So just go ahead and get that squeezed in like so. Beautiful, looking great. Make sure you get your walls laid out accordingly. So you're going to want walls there and there. Those are going to be butted up against the furnace, and you're going to want to make sure that you can place the floor frames over the top as well. Perfect. Looks like that fits just fine. And then we'll wall the rest of this in. Now you're going to want to get your TC set up. So go ahead and get this armored, chuck a tool cupboard in there, and get your shelf placed right up above it. And just like that, that floating box over there becomes basically invisible unless you're crouching down around in here, which will be pretty difficult once we get some storage set up. Before we get too much further, we're going to go ahead and get our floor frame set up over top the furnace. Server is very stable and not laggy at all, which is what we love. Awesome. And using the triangular roofs, you can seal in the entire upper level here to create that attic we were looking at earlier. And like so, you are fully sealed in. Now this is a good point to start adding your deployables and whatnot, and before we forget, let's go ahead and demo that. And just like that, we've actually increased the storage capacity for this module by using these low barrels instead of that large box. You can tie these industrial auto crafters into some conveyors and splitters and whatnot to pump stuff into these vending machines or from these vending machines into your furnaces. That's a pretty good way to get some automated manufacturing incorporated. One trick if you're dealing with these floating shelves, try to get up above them sometimes. From there you can get an angle where you can snap a box onto that shelf. It can be a little tricky, you kind of gotta look around a little bit in here until you can find it, turn blue on there. And if that doesn't work, another good alternative is to get a box placed as far on the outer edge of the shelf as you can, nice and square, then over out as far as you can go. And then you should be able to snap another box right next to it. That's usually the easiest way to get these shelf boxes. What we're going to do now is make it a little bit easier to navigate in here. Now for the furnace modules off on this side. I want to start with a bamboo half shelf here, and then we're going to get our first couple of furnaces placed down below here. And as you can see there, it can help to stand on top of another furnace sometimes to get those placements that are really narrow and really tough to get into. Pop that guy on there. And the top shelf is way easier than the bottom shelf because you can just straight up snap on the top shelf and you can't on the bottom for whatever reason. So that's 16 electric furnaces all squeezed into this tiny little 3x1 triangle section. Now we'll go ahead and move on up to the upper floor.
"2,000 years later."
And sometimes there's just not an answer. Not everything has to work. And in fact, many things won't throughout your life. You just have to be okay with that. So we're gonna move on.
One eternity later.
And again, good enough. Sometimes you just gotta know when to cut yourself off. That is an important lesson to learn. Now up top here, we're gonna look at some placements for some additional storage. You'll notice that we can't put any stuff over the furnace. Just doesn't work. But there are spots where we can put stuff that's not over the furnace. So what you wanna do is you wanna kinda try to find where these areas are, and then maybe if we can squeeze another one in right here, we can get a little bit of extra storage there as well. I'm trying to keep it a little bit further away from the floor frames and the windows so that you can fit the adapters on there. Let's see if that'll work. Okay, so that bottom adapter won't fit because of the floor frame, but this one will. And you should be able to get these ones, no problem at all. That one you're stuck on. And that'll give you 2 extra boxes worth of storage up here, which is really nice. Now these back adapters are going to be basically impossible to reach once you close this all in. So if you really want, you could put a ladder hatch up here so you could drop down and access this floor later on. I typically just seal it up with the floor grills though, and just count on those primary adapters on the front for any sort of automation that I want to use. Just like so, you've got that area mostly sealed in. We'll toss some floor grills in there, but that's looking good so far. Put a door frame in here for an additional garage door. And then this will take us up into the attic. Kind of gotta jump crouch a little bit to get up here. And that seals in your loft very nicely. Up here, you kind of just want to fit stuff wherever it will go. Certain things can be placed, so you just kind of got to experiment. And once you've got all of your boxes up in the attic placed however you see fit, then you are all done. Everything in this design has been put together with some slight variations here and there to fully set up this design as your primary furnace factory. Another super module packed base design, and if you liked what you saw, then I would appreciate it if you left a like on the video. If you learned anything, go ahead and share that down in the comments so that other folks know what to expect in this video. And if you want to see more stuff just like this, consider subscribing to the Spill Drop channel. Thank you all so much again for 3,000 subscribers this year. A huge achievement, and I'm so proud. Thank you again for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.